So welcome to the call, everyone. It's an interesting one. When I decided to do customer care tonight, I thought I could almost put money on the bet that a lot of people will think, oh, that's a bit boring, or, oh, no, I can't be bothered with that. And it's one of the most important things. And it's not until you get to a stage where you may be further in your journey with Juice Plus, you're used to getting a really good paycheck, and then all of a sudden you have someone, a few customers fall off, you haven't done your customer care and you don't qualify that month, you certainly know that you need to do your customer care, because there's nothing worse than not qualifying. And for those of you who are new, if you don't really understand qualifying, we'll explain that later. There's nothing worse than qualifying. If some of the NMDs didn't qualify, they would be missing out on thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. One of the easiest ways to qualify is to actually qualify your business is to keep your customers. Hi, everyone who's just joined us. We're already in record mode. I wasn't sure if some of you are coming on, so welcome. I was just saying to the girls who were on earlier, it's an interesting thing because a lot of people would have seen the post today about the call tonight being customer care. And one, they might have thought, oh, that's a bit boring, or that's a bit old hat, or they might have thought, I don't need that. So for those of you who were on the call last week, did anyone there put, out of their score out of 10, did anyone put more than 7 for customer care? Well done, Liv. Brand new as well. Okay.
I think that's why.
Sorry?
I think that's probably why, because I am new, I'm very conscious of them.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, I'd like to think that in a couple of years' time, you're even more conscious because it pays off, and I'm going to explain to you why. My score for that was 9 out of 10. I've always loved doing customer care. Maybe I'm a bit weird, I don't know. But some of the scores for other things were 4 out of 10. So I'm certainly not blowing my own trumpet for everything. Customer care is all about relationships. There's not an NMD in the whole of Juice Plus who wouldn't agree with me that building a relationship is one of the most important things in the business. Who's having trouble getting new customers at the moment, who realises it's not as easy as it sounds? Yep, beautiful. I was just saying I missed out on the call tonight. I got 2, couldn't get my 3rd one. So for those of you who've had trouble getting customers, you need to hear what I'm going to say next. It's easier to keep a customer than get a new one. Now, if you do lose a customer, if you've done really good customer care, you do not beat yourself up. You're annoyed that they cancel, you're disappointed and you're upset for them, but you don't beat yourself up. If you haven't done customer care, you certainly do, and you should. So, building relationships. I want to use an example for you. One of my husband is now a sales coordinator, and to get him there, we need to get 3 direct legs, 3 direct virtual franchisees. 2 of the 3 legs that we got for Craig and put under him to get to sales coordinator, they were customers. One was a customer over about 11 years. Do you think I built a good relationship with her? Talk about consistency. We were talking about, Michelle, about Linda Evenden. Consistency. I just kept going with my customer care. I built up a raving fan customer. And when I asked the question, she said yes. I'd asked it many times, mind you, but she eventually said yes. The other one was a fairly new customer of mine, and I chose in my customer care calls to talk about the business. She's already a Tupperware lady, and she decided to take Juice Plus on as well. She's just about to start some coaching with me. So would you agree that relationships, building relationships, are vital? Because some of you have heard of the funnel. Basically, it comes that all your customers come down, and some of them will eventually become franchisees. So customer care. Most people, when you talk about customer care, they freak. It is human nature to have fear. Fear of being rejected, fear of them cancelling, fear that you'll sound like an idiot, fear that you don't know enough. But and it was a famous person who I can't think who it was now. Most people don't care what you know, they just care about how you make them feel and how much you care. It's a very, very important thing to think of. One of the best things you can do, I have heard a lot of people, when they talk about customer care, unless you've got 100, or I've got a lot of customers, but unless you've got 100 or 200 customers, you'll hear some people train people and say, you just get on the call, you do what you have to do and you get off. But if you build a good relationship, I've got some of my customers, I've asked some of those master ask the questions. I know some of their desires about health. I know some of their pains about health. I know some of them like a darn good chat. I mean, how often do you speak to a machine these days? So some of my customers, they're almost feeling as though I'm their friend. We have a really good chat about things. And some of my customers have really got quite reasonably serious health problems. They just love knowing that I care and I'm interested, and that I know that last time I rang them, they were going for a short stint in hospital or that sort of thing. It's lovely when you remember that someone's had a new grandchild. It's lovely when you remember that they bought some gummies, some soft chews to gift to a grandchild or to a niece or a nephew. So before we get into customer care, I just want to really explain the importance of customer care and the importance of building relationships. Do not rush your customer care. One thing that will help you in customer care, and it will help you get some confidence, if it goes to message bank. I want you to breathe through it and just say exactly what you would say on a call if they had answered the phone. But of course, you're not as scared because you're not actually speaking to them and you don't actually have to answer questions. And one of the things I do, particularly when I do a next box call on call 3, I will actually say to them, I'll say to them, you've got a box that's due to be shipped next Thursday and I'd hate you to run out before it's arrived. I also am pretty sure your credit card expiry date is okay, so that's all good. So unless I hear from you, your next box will be dispatched. I hope it's all going well. Really looking forward to actually catching you next time, having a good chat. Take care. So I put the onus on them. Unless I hear back from them, that box is going to ship. But then more importantly, I get one of these. Now you can do all your customer care on the virtual office. To me, that is a good way if you're one of these really, especially if you're a young person, you're really technologically minded. But I know I can pick out any of my customers and on here I can just see at a glance. So for example, the lady I spoke to last week chatted that she did well with her last stint in hospital. Enough now, she's got rheumatoid arthritis. Enough now she's doing well so she can go on a big holiday. So one of the first things I wrote on the date for that thing was, apart from the fact that I did the next box call, I wrote that she was doing well and that she was going for a holiday and she was due back on such and such a date. So when I do another call to her, even if it's in 4 months' time, I can say, how was your holiday to Croatia? Goodness me, was it a long time away? Did you get sick of living out of a suitcase? So just chatting. Or do you live for travel? Was it no effort? Because I want to hear her desires. So if ever it comes to a stage where she's going to be a franchisee, I'll possibly know that one of her joys in life is traveling, and that can be one of her whys. So where will you find a customer profile form? You'll find it, I'll just put it a little bit closer. You'll find it in our Dropbox. You'll possibly even find it on our juicycrew.info site. Tina, bless her, has put a lot of those sorts of things. So you can have a direct link to them. I'm not sure, I can't tell you offhand. But if in doubt, don't use not being able to find it as an excuse. Contact your upline support person or contact me. I'll soon email it to you. But what we want to do here is duplication. So what we want to do, and that was something that Michelle was saying, that Lucy says it's one of her, not her forte. So Lucy needs to make it her forte, otherwise she's going to copy it to Michelle. So Michelle may not think it's important. Then Olivia may not think it's important. Megan may not think it's important, and so on. So we're all about duplication. And the fact that I'm not as good as I could be in other things I've possibly duplicated that to some of my frontline. So hopefully not too much. So for those of you who are fairly new, are you aware that there is in our Dropbox, and also I think it probably is on Juicy Crew, or at least I've asked Tina to put it on there, there's something that, now the company has got a tried and proven system. It goes right through the behind the scenes email that the company sends your lovely customers, and then it's the virtual tracking emails that the company emails you as a reminder. Okay, so there's a really tried and proven system. And then on your virtual office, you will, every time a box is due to be shipped, 10 days prior, you should get notification of it. Because here's something that a lot of people don't know, and when we go through this, you'll realise you only get those virtual tracking emails, there's 6 in total, I think it is, for the first 280 days. So that's about 8 or 9 months into your customer's journey, and it's after they've received the 3rd box. Then the only way that you know that they've got a next box due is either you check daily or 2nd daily or 3rd daily on your virtual office under customer team alerts, sorry, not team alerts, customer alerts, and it will tell you that they're due. Or you can go into your virtual office to a certain area and order what we call a preferred customer genealogy report. So it's really important that you do know when the next box is. You know, I always think, and I get on my high horse a little bit, how dare we think that we can really ask people to take this product, and it's the sort of product that you're not necessarily meant to feel anything, but a lot of people do. We need to educate these people, so you cannot, when they're all excited about agreeing to take the product, there's no way you can educate them just with a bit of information sent in the mail or email. They could be busy like we all are and not even look at it. It could never be cited. So you've got to take several opportunities, those first 6 calls, the first 280 days, to ring them, build a relationship, and fill in the gaps of their education. And what I'm saying, you don't have to be a health education expert. You need to be a customer care expert. So if they ask you a question or they need to know something and you don't know, just say, that's a really good question. I need to know that. I'm so intent on helping people in their Juice Plus journey and their wellness journey. I promise I'll get back to you with that. Can you hang 5, and I'll make sure in the next couple of days I get an answer and I'll get back to you. So all you have to do is ring them and show that you care. Do not ever pretend, me included, that you're a health expert. I'm not. I've got a degree in nursing. I've nursed a lot of cancer patients, but I don't know half of the things. And that's why when people ask us, you know, is this good for rheumatoid arthritis? Is this good for that? Is it good for cancer? We don't say that we do anything for disease. We just reduce the risk of a lot of the things, and we enhance people's wellness. And that's not because we say it or doctors like Dr. Tamara rave about it. It's because our 36 published research studies are proving that it does do wonderful things. We don't actually test or do these research on diseases. Like we've got one on ovarian cancers. It's done on ovarian cancer survivors and just seeing how their quality of life is improved with going on to Juice Plus. So always make sure, because we don't ever want to be called a pharmaceutical. We're a nutraceutical. We're food as medicine. So for those of you particularly who's new, are you familiar with this customer care procedure? Okay, so Michelle, have you seen this or aware that it's there? It's a new customer care plan and information sheets to send, and I revised it in August. What about you, Liv? Where's Liv? She's there. Sorry, you're on mute, lovey. Just unmute yourself.
Is that on the Juicy Crew, one of the folders?
It should be in Juicy Crew, but if it's not, it'll be on the Dropbox. So have you been tagged in our Facebook page for the Dropbox?
I've tried to get onto that a couple of times and it freezes on me.
What, the Dropbox?
Yeah.
Shame. Look, I'll just make a note and I will definitely tag you. see if the new tag works.
Because I can see the folders in it, but I can't, for some reason, if I click on it, nothing happens.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think
the
that's
thing is,
the memory in your phone.
is
on my
it?
computer.
Yeah, if you don't have a
Okay.
lot of memory, I don't think you can download the files, because I had that problem, but then I upgraded my phone and now I can do it.
It's a
Okay.
brand new computer.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the key to a lot of your success and continued success is this piece of paper. So you just need to keep going up line, ask Lucy where to find it or ask her to supply it. But you guys want to duplicate and show your new people. So let's really try and get you to find it on the Dropbox, in the Dropbox under customer care. So I'm pretty sure I saw it there last week, but I will check. I'm pretty sure that's what I did do. I just checked that it was there, Dropbox. I'll check that afterwards. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go through this steadily. What you'll probably realise is that, one, you might find it overwhelming. This is so simple that now I know that if I got a new customer today, I know I go and grab one of these out. I write all the details, even their credit card expiry date, not their credit card details. That's on a scrap of paper, which I discard. Just their credit card expiry date, which you can find on your virtual office anyway. And then I get a plastic sleeve out because I keep all my customers in a lever arch file. So I've got them all in plastic sleeves. So, for example, on this customer profile, you put name, address, phone number, email, general information, product purchase, is it installments or paying up front? If it's a children's health study, when's the child's birthday, you might like to send a birthday greeting. And then you've got the date and notes. So, for example, I did a couple of calls, not yesterday, on Friday, and I just would have put the date. I would have put next box call. Sally, very happy to receive next box, has told girlfriend Brenda about product and will ask if she'd like me to send her obligation-free information. So I know exactly what I'm doing next time, because even if you've only got 30 customers, because quite frankly, for a qualifying business, you only need, I do put them in alphabetical order, absolutely. Yeah, that was Nicole asking that question. But there's no way, when you only need 30 or 35 customers to have a qualified business. And if you've got quite a few franchisees at the lower levels, you don't even need that many, but always aim for 30 to 35 customers. So I know it's good for me. Some of my customers I've had for 17, 18 years, so there's no way I'm going to be ringing them all the time. I literally ring them for the next box calls. Sometimes a customer will say, unless you hear from me, you don't need to ring me. And I must admit, twice a year, I usually do. Don't ever assume that, though. You keep doing it till they ask you to stop. It's only once every 4 months, for goodness sake. I must admit that I've gotten a little bit tardy. The last 6 to 12 months, I haven't been doing my twice a year. I haven't been doing my twice a year newsletters. It's a really interesting thing because I'm still the old-fashioned thing that I don't just email it to all my customers. I usually have it typed out. I do it in envelopes, have to address the envelopes and send it. And what I'm doing a trial to see if my retention, that's retaining my customers, is just the same without doing that newsletter. Because I think everyone's life gets so busy, and I think sometimes a chatty phone call from me and building relationships. And don't forget, in a minute when we quickly go through this, you'll realise that in their first 8 to 9 months of their journey with Juice Plus, I send them lots of things in the mail, so I've educated them. If they haven't chosen to look at it, I can always revisit it if I'm doing a next box call. If they're saying, like, I set all of my customers up so they're not having to feel anything amazing, because I give them the drip feed document called the real benefits. So for those of you who are new and haven't had a lot of customer care training, I would almost suggest that you, Liv, you certainly can't unless you fly over, but at least one of you maybe come to my home and have some customer care training if you would like to. or just a general chat, and then you can train your other people. So on this procedure, all it does is follows the tried and proven system that the company supplies us. But I've just elaborated on it, and I have provided for you some things that have worked for me for all these years, the things that I send to people. I'm just going to check the chat and make sure no one's asked me a question. Sorry, Miranda, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. It might be a good time to ask now so we don't get it lost. Just unmute yourself, honey.
Just when you're sending tidbits to customers, so drip feed information, some article, or maybe it might be a link to research papers or whatever, just something in the post, do you randomly just send it so you found it, you thought of that customer, so you'll just pop it in the post for them with a small note, or do you?
No, I send the drip feeding. Their first 8 to 9 months, they get every piece of drip feeding that's said on the procedure. If I'm chatting to someone doing a next box call and they tell me that their friend or their auntie or someone's got cancer, I'll have a look way back on their profile and see if I've ever sent the things on CASE, the Centre for Advancement of Cancer Education, who've never endorsed a product, but they endorsed Juice Plus. I've got stuff on breast cancer and folate and all sorts of things. So I'll post it out and ask them to give it to their auntie or whatever.
Okay.
So that is random, but these are all very procedural. But the other thing is too, well, I write a chatty newsletter, but I usually get a special piece of drip feed that I'll put with that. But as I say, I haven't been doing that lately. So let's just very quickly, because I don't want to keep you here all night, but I can't stress that customer care is so important. Has anyone had a customer cancel? I have. Okay. I've had lots cancel, but it's not through lack of trying. So it's unfortunate. Next time I do this, I'll ask everyone to have this sheet in front of them. But basically it says, if not already supplied, like say, for example, sometimes we're lucky enough that the company will contact us and they'll gift us a customer who hasn't nominated anyone on the website. Also, one of your friends who's a customer might rave to someone and you get them as a customer, but they've only taken your customer's word for it, and their excitement and your excitement. It's only common courtesy to send them some information, even if you're not a snail mail girl like me, which I think this is good because they can put it in their lounge room or whatever and read it at their leisure. If an email, they can easily flick it and just never read it. But anyway, so if not already supplied, post an information pack, at least a brochure and a couple of the drip feeding things as suitable. So for example, in the Dropbox, you'll find things like, and you can just use them, they're all generic. Why am I taking and recommending Juice Plus? Doctor, what vitamins should I take? So there's quite a few things there in information pack. In fact, I think Tina was going to get a basic information pack. I'll write that down as well and get it on our Juicy Crew info, because the basic info pack is really, really good. And for those of you who don't have brochures, it's important. But look, if you're half serious about this business, to buy 40 brochures for $11, it's really well worth it. Just the one Farm Fresh Nutrition. Sorry, I'm just writing myself a note. Okay, so it says to give them that. So please note that on each and every call, it is a great time to invite to events. Like, really, and this is where I'm not as good, because I've had customers for a long time. I've asked the question so often if they'd like to be a distributor or this, that, and the other, and we desperately need their help. But say I was doing a next box call today, if the person also is becoming a raving fan customer, I might say, I don't know if this would interest you, but every Tuesday night we go to this divine, gorgeous, lovely lady. She's a doctor. In fact, she's a specialist doctor. And we just have a chat about the product and how the business works. Wonder if you'd like to come along as my guest and have a glass of wine. So that's what this is saying. So when you all get this tomorrow and print it out, have a really good and make it your new customer care Bible. So, and generally build the friendship. Also, your customer will be receiving really encouraging e-customer emails from the company. For Liv and Michelle, were you aware that that was happening behind the scenes? You were? Fantastic. Great. You need to make yourself familiar with them, as they may want to discuss. I don't think they've changed them for a long time, but they are available. In fact, they're available under Manage My Customers on the bottom left-hand side of your virtual office, that bottom left-hand square, and you'll actually see the ones that get sent out. And that's another thing while we're on this call, fully, whenever you've got, even if it's 10, 15 minutes, have a really good explore of the virtual office. It is brilliant. Can really help you with a lot of things. So then it says, all right, so you've supplied the info pack, post a welcome letter, which is in the Dropbox as well. How to take Juice Plus, another document called Wind, Fluff and Gas. It's all about detoxing. The water document and the real benefits. The real benefits versus bonuses document is outstanding. If I say so myself, I did it, and it just really explains to you it's part of your education. So as much as most of us are feeling things, we don't want someone to feel that if Nicole Stewart had terrible skin, God forbid, and she had a wonderful turnaround with Juice Plus, what if someone started taking the product, it was doing him or her really good, but their skin didn't really change a great deal? I'd be very surprised, but that's just an example. So we don't want people's expectations to be too high for actual things that they physically see and feel, but you still want to get them excited. Okay, so you posted the welcome letter and all those things. So call one. So that's straight away. So I've gotten my customer profile. I've put all their information on there. I've got a plastic sleeve out. Now, all those things that I just said to send, do you want to have to go to the Dropbox and print them all the time? I've got lovely slots in a cupboard. I'm very fortunate. But all you need to do is buy a lever arch file, another one, with sleeves, print off half a dozen, so you've got half a dozen customer profile forms. I always think I'm very much a law of attraction person, so I'd print 10. That means I'm looking forward to 10 new customers coming into my world. So then you'd print off 10 welcome letters. You'd print off 10 drip feed, the real benefits versus bonuses. Just being organized is next to godliness, seriously, because a lot of you are doing this with little babies and children. You're doing it in snatches of time. You must get organized. Okay, so that's what I've done. So I've got my manila envelope. I've popped all those things. I've done the welcome letter. I've maybe even done in a blue pen a chatty little note on it. Great to talk to you on the phone. So glad you're starting to use Juice Plus. Look forward to our next call. Enjoy this information. End of story. Post it. Put everything that you've sent on here. So you put today's date, 1st of the 5th, 2017, sent this, that, the other, info pack, how to take, wind, fluff and gas, water, etc. Just so you know what you've done. Okay, so the call one you're going to make, about 10 days after you've put that order in, you should get an email, a virtual tracking email from the customer, from the company. Now, here's the key. This is what I do. You're all busy people, correct? So in your email inbox, make a folder over to the side. This is what I coached Lucy on today. So make a folder over onto the side and drag across anytime you get one of those virtual tracking emails. Now, you might get it. You might be doing a snatch of time and using 5 minutes to check your emails. You're not going to have time in that 5 minutes to go and do call number 1 or 2 that it suggests, because you're learning. So you want to, it doesn't take you, it only takes you a few minutes, but you're learning. So the first thing you're going to do in the next week is get yourself organized with photocopies. The next thing you're going to do is drag all of those things over and designate, probably at this stage, designate a 30 to 40 minute time in your week that you're going to devote to your customer care. If you haven't got that, you're still going to have to do it in snatches of time. So what I do, I've dragged it over to my customer care call/tasks. And as I've done that task, it could be making call 1. When I've done it and I'm satisfied and I've put it on that person's profile, I delete it. So do you see how it's cross-checking all the time? It's brilliant. So call 1 at 10 days. Ensure the customer has received their Juice Plus. Encourage them to get in the habit of taking and drinking plenty of water. If they haven't received it, ring the office and get them to do a track and a trace. Lately, because we've quadrupled our sales or more, that's a good selling point too, by the way. The last 12 months, we've more than quadrupled our sales. It might take longer, so it doesn't matter if you don't do your next box call for day 12 or whatever, but you will receive that email and you've got to make sure it's done. Call 2 is at 60 days. Now, they've been on it for 2 months. Well, they haven't. They've been on it for about 50 days, so it took about 10 days to arrive. So it says here to ensure they're drinking enough water and using correctly, ask for referrals. One of the biggest reasons people don't refer people to you is you don't ask them to. It's the same as one of the biggest reasons people don't buy, that you don't ask them to. So here's the verbiage that you need to use. Hi, Sally, it's Hilary. So glad you're happy with your Juice Plus. To keep our Juice Plus product down at its wonderfully affordable price, we never ever advertise, so I really need your help. I'm sure you'll be raving to people about Juice Plus. I would love to get them some obligation-free information. Do you notice I didn't say, can you ask them to call me? Because guess what? They won't call you. So if Sally has raved that her sister's really interested, Sally, please ask your sister if I can post her out some obligation-free information or give her a call. Now, if someone on a call has said that to me, I straight away go to my diary in 4 days' time, ring Sally Smith again. Hi, Sally, did you manage to talk to your sister? Does she want me to send that information? No, I forgot to. Well, do you think it's appropriate if I call her? Oh, I'm sure she'd love it. So do you see how I'm persistent and consistent? Do you see how there's a system? Until they say no, I'm not giving up. Obviously, you know, if they're not saying the right things back to you, you're not going to be persistent. But you're going to try till it's appropriate to stop. Do you understand, everyone? Do you see what I'm saying? That being organised with your customer care is not only going to look after that customer, it's going to get you new customers and it'll make them raving fan customers that become franchisees. This works. It's a proven system, and this is what happens. Okay. At that time when you're doing that and asking for referrals, once you finish the call, straight away you go to your Lever Arch file with all your photocopies and you get a thing called the CTR report and the analogy. The CTR report is priceless. It's basically showing someone a study that was done in the CTR, the current therapeutic research journal. It shows what happened after 28 days. And it showed that the antioxidants, the goodies, went way, way up, and the free radicals, the baddies, went way down. And what I've done on it, I've used a green biro and I've circled antioxidants and put goodies. I've circled free radicals and put baddies. So I've spoon-fed them through this study. And they can see after 28 days that that's happening in their body. Because don't forget, by call 2 at day 60, they've been on it well and truly 28 days. So everyone understand that? Then the analogy is an analogy of a neglected houseplant. Juice Plus is food. It's not pharmaceutical. It's not a drug. So it basically is saying that you won't notice things straight away. It's like if you decide to water and fertilize a neglected houseplant, it's not going to happen overnight. So they're two amazing documents. If you can't find them, they could, I know the analogy is called that. Tina may have called them something different in the Dropbox when she made it all pretty. So if you can't find it, you must ask, okay? I'm always approachable, always available. If I don't get back to you or if I don't pick up the phone or whatever, I will get back to you. So then you've done that. And then it just says, drip feed to send, the analogy between Juice Plus and neglected houseplant, and then asking for referrals. And that verbiage that I gave you, asking for referrals, you can also write that on a piece of your drip feed, on your document. To keep product costs down at this already wonderfully affordable price, we never ever advertise. So please ask me if you'd like me to send information or to call any of your friends you've raved about Juice Plus too. So it's just easy, and you don't write in black because that's what your typewritten document is in. Do it in blue or purple or green or red or whatever, so that it's like a personal note to them, so they'll notice it and read it. It's also a good time on that day 60. This is a really important key, particularly if they're in a partnership, a married couple or whatever. Make sure their hubby's not pinching their capsules, because if they are, they're going to run out well and truly before their next box comes, and that's a good opportunity to get another customer, get their husband some as well. Call 3 is at 100 days. Remember, you're receiving virtual tracking emails. They're not only telling you to do call 3, it even gives you an explanation of what to say on the call. So at that call, ensure everything's okay. And for those of you who are new, we used to have a Juice Plus Effects survey that we would do at call at 100 days, which is just before the next box is due. We'd be asking them lots of questions to see if they're feeling certain things or noticing things with Juice Plus, and they would get some free product. Well, we don't have that anymore, but on this procedure, you will notice that I actually quite often do the survey. I just do it as a 2-minute survey, and when they've done it, and usually they're saying, oh yeah, actually I am sleeping better. Oh yeah, I didn't notice that, but yeah, my bowels are better, etc., because they're all the questions. And I'm pretty sure you'll find that survey in the Dropbox as well. So then what I do as a gesture, particularly if they're not Juice Plus Complete customers, I send them as a thank you just 1 sachet of Complete, just as a thank you for doing the survey and just as a gesture. You don't have to do that. This is my system that I do mostly on the company's tried and proven system, but it works for me. Okay, alert them, read the next box. Don't forget these. Oh, and also never, ever, ever, ever say, are you ready for your next box? That's not how you say it, because what can they say easily? No. So you can say something like me, I'm sure you're relying on Juice Plus to really get lots of fruits and vegetables into your system. I'd hate you to run out before your next box arrives. It isn't due to be dispatched for another week yet, and it will take a while because our sales have gone through the roof. Would you like me to bring it forward? Just checking, and also making sure your credit card expiry date is still okay. So nowhere there did I say next box. Do you want it? I'm just assuming they do, but they might want it bringing forward. Then it's up to them to say, oh, I haven't been taking it or whatever, and then we can delay it. But you don't put words in their mouth, okay? Right, you're all looking like sun mullets. I hope you're not overwhelmed. It's all on the sheet. It's very easy to do. And you just do it in your sleep after a while. I see an email. Well, I don't see an email because I've dragged them across to my customer care folder. I see that for Sally Smith, I've got to do call number 3. I know exactly what it is, but while you're learning, you refer to this. Hi, Sally, it's Hillary. Just checking you're not going to run out before your next box arrives, yada, yada, yada. It just rolls off your tongue. Even on a message bank, that's what you can do. Okay, call 4, that's at 140 days. They've already received their second box. So congratulations. If you can get a customer to accept a second box, that's when you can really feel you've got a customer. Even better when they've accepted their third box. Okay, ensure that that second box has been received, and if they received the sample complete sachet that you sent, if you sent one. Are they enjoying it? Did they enjoy it? If they rave, offer them the product. Would you like to know the prices? It's really affordable, way less than a ham and salad roll. Something like that, and see if they would like to know the prices to order some, and say they can order as little as 30 sachets. Okay, call number 5 is virtually like that call 3 at the first box. When their next box is due, this is when their second box is due. So again, you just go through the usual chat and ask for referrals. You always ask for referrals, don't forget. At all times, be chatty, talk about the other products and telling friends, offer an information pack to be sent out to anyone, be alert for prospective franchisees. Important. Now, this is really important for those of you, if you've ever had a cancellation, in the Dropbox there is a cancellation letter, But the first thing you must do, and promise me you will do this, sometimes the office makes mistakes. They are absolutely gobsmacked with all these orders coming in. Sometimes someone will ring them. I sometimes have such a good relationship with my customers, they're too embarrassed to ring and cancel through me. I sort of pride myself on that, and so be it. I can't do anything about it. But sometimes they just feel as though they haven't rung me. They've rung the company direct, and they just want to delay it for a while. They just need a hold on their product. And the company's got it down as cancelled. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. So without being mean to head office, don't trust it. Always make that cancellation call. Then if it's a definite cancellation call, first of all, you quite often it's through finance. So here's your chance to get a franchisee. That's a shame. Juice Plus is so affordable, but I totally understand if your budget won't stretch to it, it won't. Have I mentioned to you that our sales have more than quadrupled? We are so desperate for distributors. I don't know if this would appeal to you, but I would love to personally mentor you and help you, whether you do it just a little bit and so you can pay for your own product, or you make a real business of it. We have so much fun. What do you think? Would you like to have a catch up with me? So do you see how important that cancellation phone call is? And then if they're not interested in the business, just say, I would really love to keep you on my calls list. If you don't mind, I'd love to ring you from time to time and see how you're going. Now, if that happens, I know that they've usually received a box. They've got 4 months of lease to use up before the cancellation really comes into effect. So I then diarise in my diary. I still use good old paper diary. I diarise for about 8 months to give that person a call. And to be really honest, if I think, no, it's no use doing that, I don't do it. But sometimes it's just a good call to make. You don't know what things have happened in their life. Their husband could have been, it could be worse. They couldn't afford it before, but now their husband could be made redundant. They could be separated. Anything could happen. So you get the drift of doing a cancellation call. Okay, so after 280 days, this is what I've done for many, many years. I send them 2 newsletters. I do one in July, middle of the year, when all the coughs and colds are around. Just remind them why they need to keep taking their Juice Plus and ask them for referrals. And then I never, ever, ever send one for Christmas. It never gets looked at. They're too busy. I send it in January, about 2 or 3 weeks after they've made their New Year's resolutions and failed. So, does everyone get the drift how important customer care is? Who would like to think that in 4 months' time, when we have another call and you score yourself out of 10, you're at least an 8? Who's going to do that? Hands up. Beautiful. Some of you might do it. Congratulations if you do. Listen, guys, if you're fearful that you're going to be rejected or they're going to cancel, you've got more chance of retaining that customer by doing the customer care than if you just let them go. Understand? Because half the time they stop taking Juice Plus is because they're not educated enough. They don't understand. They just got caught up in the excitement and the hype. So what I might do, if everyone unmutes, we'll see if there's any questions. Liv is saying that she gets those emails as a new customer too. Yes, you do. Isn't it wonderful? Okay, Mel, you do customer care on the virtual office. Down the bottom left-hand side, it's manage my customers, unlike edit my customers. So it's the bottom left-hand side, and they've got, because I don't use the virtual office for doing my customer care, but it is down there, you'll find it. Rach McCutcheon, great, good on you, darling. Glad to have you on the call as well. Starting again. Good on you, Miranda. Well done, everyone. Okay, so do I make a note of what you send to each person? Most definitely. That's what goes on here. So what I'll just do, I'll just quickly get an example one. Let me just see what I can find. Close friend of mine. It was way back in 2016. All I've got, and it's only you who's ever going to see this, so you've only got to do little notes on it. I've got next box call. When Dawn, this lovely lady friend of mine, replied, she said that she'd had the flu. I suggested she double up for at least 5 days and to increase her water. And I also delayed her product for 2 months because she hadn't been taking it. Wonder why she had the flu. And, she could have still gotten the flu, but maybe it wouldn't have been as bad as she'd been taking it properly. So just little things like that. Drip feed that I sent, and this was probably a year before, I did the Juice Plus Effects survey done. I sent her the thing on Berry Blend. I sent her a drip feeding thing about anti-aging and skin, and I sent her the thing on breast cancer. So it was just at that time when I was drip feeding her information to get her onto Berry Blend as well as the fruit and veg, which I was successful in. So does that answer your question, Xavier? So whatever you send, you write down, because even though there's quite a good chance that they won't read it or they'll forget, it's like today I went to send something to someone and just something said to me, I said, God, I've got a funny feeling I've sent this to her before, because I've got all sorts of things that I send apart from what's on here. So just because it's not on here, if you've got an interesting thing about Juice Plus or you've seen it in my drip feeding files or whatever, use it. And I was quite right. I had sent that lady something. So I want to appear organised, even though it could have been 2 years prior. I didn't want to send it again. So any questions? Okay, I'm just going to stop the recording.